Nobody's coming to save you. So you build and grind and you rise. From struggle to breakthrough. From pressure to legacy. These are raw, unfiltered stories of entrepreneurs, leaders, and dreamers who refuse to quit. Welcome to No Rescue, sponsored by Proto. No Rescue family, we are back again. I'm super excited about this one because I have one of my good buddies on here, Vince McCullam. This guy's a gangster in the background. A lot of you guys may know him, but a lot of you probably know things that he's been a part of. And so Vince comes from an experienced background. He has been a C-suite executive in multiple industries for the last 10 years, 7 different times, all of which are, CMO. I think you've been a COO, CRO, kind of all over the map. But I know you're doing your biggest venture right now is BlackJet Ventures. That's huge. You guys are big in the golf scene. But more than anything, I mean, I can go list on and on. You have your own security company. Like, you're a serial entrepreneur, like a true killer. And I'm super excited to have you. Thanks for coming, bro.
Yeah, man. And thanks for having me. It's been really cool to hang out with you, get to know you a lot better. Like, I'm excited. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, and it's funny because I got to tell people this. This is, and hopefully this is okay to say, but one of the first times we met, right, we were talking and chatting. It was me, you, and Jason. And then out of nowhere, you pulled out your phone and you had LeBron James' phone number.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you got to be a gangster to have LeBron James' phone number.
And he talked to me once, like back and forth. He talked to me like once.
Let's go.
It was after his championship in Cleveland.
Okay.
And I texted him because I was like, is this a real number? Because I want to make sure. He probably has like 4 phones. Right?
Oh, I'm sure.
So I said like, hey, I just said like, congrats, King. Really cool to see. And he just wrote back like, hey, thanks, man. Like, it's really cool to have people like you in my corner.
That's
and because I didn't say like what the congratulations was for, just to test it and like.
That's awesome, dude.
I got it.
Well, just to ever, I mean, that right there is like credibility, speaks credibility, miles, right? To you and everything that you've done, right?
Sure.
And I'm super excited because really in this podcast specifically, we like to pull back the curtain and kind of dive into the journey, right? The No Rescue journey. And so I'm super stoked, super excited to dive into all of that. Let's start at the very beginning. So what I like to do with these Vince is really just to dive into the young mind of young Vince, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you grew up. Tell me a bit about your childhood. Let's start there.
Way before I got into business, I was a really shy, introverted young boy, right? Didn't have a lot of confidence, didn't really know who I was or what I wanted to do. I just kind of wanted to play with friends and I'll figure it out later. Like, and a lot of my childhood was live in the moment, figure it out later, which works a lot of times in entrepreneurship for sure, but it doesn't really work for like interpersonal skills or relationship building, things like that, like things I kind of missed out on. So as a kid, a lot of that was figure it out and live in the moment, which is great. But like I said, like when you lack confidence, that also is a lack of confidence in what you want to do later. Absolutely. Who you are now and how that shapes who you want to be later. Yeah. That kind of thing, which kind of, in a way, I felt like put me behind from a business standpoint. So, okay. So, there's that.
And so tell me a little bit about then, like, where do you feel like that came from? Like, is it come from your parents, like how they grew up or your siblings?
I mean, it might be, so to be fair, I'm the oldest of 6.
Okay, cool.
So a lot of my childhood was my parents hustling and working, 2 to 3 jobs to help us all make it by. So my parents still live in the house that we were raised in and grew up. We grew up a lot of our childhood also in Chile and in South America, but stateside or here in Brigham City up north. What was really interesting though was so my parents they're working, they're hustling, they're trying everything. They bought an old pioneer home, like an original pioneer home. Oh, wow. So there's still no AC there. Yeah. There's 1 bathroom for 8 people. Like, and if you've ever seen like Harry Potter, it's like the Weasley house where we added on a room, then added on another room. Like it's all like it's like that. Like it's very homey. Yeah. When we're all there, like it's small, it's intimate, like it's cool for us siblings, but like we were pieced together very humbly. And so a lot of that was like know your role. Yeah. Stick to it. Yeah. Don't deviate from that. Like, here's your responsibility. Get it done. Don't jump out of that that road, like stay in your lane. And I think when you have that, it's like, okay, well, then I don't need a voice. I don't need to be confident because I just need to play my role.
Yeah.
Right. And again, like there's good things and bad things to that.
Yeah.
But like if you are already shy, introverted, and a bit unconfident, and now you need to stay in your lane and know your role, like it doesn't help it so much. But yeah.
Are your siblings all like that? Would you say that's a family trait, or was
No, I mean, like I said, there's 6 of us. We're everything from super, super introverted, quiet to super, super loud, boisterous, like everything in between, right? So it's like we got the whole spectrum covered. I think it's just our upbringing was a little bit different because once I started, becoming more of a man, leaving the house, my younger siblings right underneath me doing the same, I feel like the floodgates opened up a little bit for the younger siblings.
Cool.
To kind of wear more hats, in that kind of sense, to kind of find themselves earlier.
And have they all followed similar footsteps of you? Because obviously you're a successful entrepreneur now. Have all of them kind of followed in that same path? Or?
No, like there's different types. So we all chose very, very different paths. Some of us went to college, some of us didn't. Like my sister, I have 2 sisters. She's the older one. She has her own jewelry company, and she's had it for a while. It's called Shannon. Super cool company. She runs it with her husband, and they've been doing it for several years successfully. They just signed like the Wilson family, like
oh wow, okay,
the local BYU Wilson kind of family.
I know Wilson.
So they signed them, and like she's doing the entrepreneur thing herself, but no one else is. So like it's just different flavors, different kids.
Yeah. So then, and I like to talk about siblings because I think it's interesting to see where traits are developed and things like that. So talk to me a bit then about your relationship with your parents. Like, what did they do for a living? Like, what were some of their examples to you early growing up, especially in the marketplace, right?
Yeah. So my dad, for lack of better word, was he's retired now, but was like a social worker for the government. So if you're living on food stamps or you're coming on hard times or you need government assistance in something, like he's one of the counselors, if you will, that you would go and speak to try to get a plan. And as a government employee, I mean, he didn't make a ton of money. And no offense or anything to him, like he was a really hard worker. He taught us to be hard workers, despite whatever you have, live within your means. Yeah. Like those lessons came from him.
Nice.
And then my mom, she was one of like 3 or 4 paid employees at the Ogden Temple for the LDS Church.
Oh, wow.
So she was a secretary to the president.
Okay.
So before the reconstruction and rebuilding of the Ogden Temple, she did that. And she was that kind of grinder. So I was like, she had other responsibilities and other tasks that she would do, but this job she would do at 5 a.m.
Yeah. Wow.
And so she would, get up at 4, get there at 5, work a shift, come like, she showed us what it means to like give yourself and all of yourself, to provide for the people that you need to provide to and to show love through that provision. Right. So like, I learned those lessons. I humbly learned those lessons, and I'm grateful for them. And they really did help shape me who I was, especially as an older guy, looking back on it in retrospect. Yeah. Because I don't think I really appreciated it in the time. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go with my mom at 4:30 in the morning. Yeah. My dad's not home, or like, and what it really taught me was was the grind and the hustle. But also I was the guy who I'd get off of school in high school. I have to go round up this brother in junior high, go to elementary school, round up the other siblings, take them home, get homework started, get dinner going, change diapers. Yeah. Like I'm the parent before parents come home. Yeah. And so as a kid, I'm like, I hate this. Yeah. Like screw this. Like this is awful. And it almost makes you want to like hate your siblings. So it's like, I don't want to take care of you. I want to go screw around with my friends. Yeah. As an adult and as you mature, you realize like how invaluable that experience was. And you're thrust into it. Yeah. It's not like as a kid you pick it. You're thrust into it. So if you're lucky enough to be thrust into it, and I say that now, lucky enough, I would not have said that then. Yeah. But if you say that now, like it's true. Like without that, I don't think I would have had the same mindset or emotional fortitude that I can have now.
Absolutely.
This podcast is sponsored by Proto. With Proto, taste comes first, but trust follows. It's clean, it's grass-fed, and it's made with standards you can feel. This is protein for people who expect more. Bougie, not basic.
It's funny. I do a lot of these interviews, and we always start in this place of like the upbringing and some of the common parallels between very successful entrepreneurs like yourself is often a few things. The first one is they come from humble beginnings.
Sure.
Right. But then the second is a lot of the entrepreneurial, like the whys, right? The bag whys, the heart, right? The heart of the entrepreneur is often developed early on in their childhood as they see and experience these struggles. And so, because there's very few successful entrepreneurs that I talk to them and their parents were successful entrepreneurs, right? Like, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And so I think like what you're saying is like right in line with a lot of people that I've interviewed of like the sentiment that like your parents taught you really what it means to work hard, right? To sacrifice. And those are invaluable traits that are necessary in being an entrepreneur, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so kind of taking the next step then, so you kind of have this upbringing, everyone calls the oldest child of a big family the third parent. You were the third parent, right?
Yeah, basically.
And so where along the line then, what was your earliest interaction with entrepreneurship? When did that ever become an idea, or when did it ever become like something you wanted to start pursuing?
In my single years, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up, right? Quote unquote. I went to college. So I graduated high school early because I was like, I'm going to go Utah State, get my pre-pharmacies degree. I'm going to become a pharmacist, right? Like you ask a 16-year-old boy, what do you want to do when you grow up? And he doesn't have any clue. He's going to pick whatever makes the most money for the least amount of work.
Yeah.
And at the time that was pharmacy. Right. So at first I was like, I'm going to be an anesthesiologist. They make bank. And then I was like, how much? 10 years of school? I was like, nah, I'm out. I did that, tried to get into to pharmacy school. And then I did some internships and realized like, that's not for me. A family friend who's a pharmacist said, hey man, you're funny. You're creative. This is not that place. like you will like
get out of here. Run.
What's interesting, he said, I haven't had a smile on my face coming to work in 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And I saw him, he had, and by the way, like we grew up in what we call the LBC, right? So not Long Beach County, but like Lower Brigham City. That's what we call it, right? So we grew up in the LBC, and he was one of the only few people, in fact, maybe one of two people I ever knew growing up who had a boat.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, this guy's made it. He's a pharmacist. Like he's making so much money.
Yeah.
And he was just like, it's not about that.
Oh, man.
So get out.
Yeah.
Get out while you can.
Yeah.
So I take his advice despite like my heart telling me like, or what I thought would tell me like, keep going and do it. And I was like, yeah, I'm picking it for the wrong reasons. So what should I do? And he said, do what you're really good at, what makes you happy. So I went to interior design.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to do interior design.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
So I switched USU, go to Weber State. Like I'm doing interior design.
Let's go.
I go in, and so I'm about 2 semesters into interior design, the only male, only dude in any of my classes ever. Okay. It was super interesting because I was the only male and I loved it. But then I found out like back then at the time, like excuse me for saying like, but they told us, like teachers told us like, unless you're gay, and so you stand out as a male, or you just have some like insane talent of like creating new patterns and look aesthetics, like you can't make money here.
Interesting.
As a straight white guy, you can't make money.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I found what I like, but it doesn't pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, because I was the only guy, like I ended up doing a portfolio piece. I had to sign an NDA for it, so I can't show like where it is or exactly what I did, but like doing the man cave for Michael Jordan.
Oh, wow.
So that led to, I don't know what I want to do. So I dropped out of school.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know what I want to do yet. I'm single now. I'm the young single guy dropping out of school. Don't know what to do. And a couple of my roommates are like, you know what we should do? Start a clothing company. Be sick.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, well, what kind of clothing company? And we said, you know what's really hot right now? And at the time it was longboarding. So we're going to start a longboarding apparel company. And it's called Lithic. I was like, oh, this is going to be sick. And I'm creative, right? So I'm coming up with like advertising ideas, which was cool and fun, but we don't have $1 to put towards advertising. We eventually put on like a big race, on the mountain at Draper.
Yeah.
And did a whole race. And like the winner got a Lithic longboard and a shopping spree to Zoomies because we got put into Zoomies. So we were in like 3 different Zoomies stores.
Oh, wow.
Made money, we broke even. Okay. And it was so hard.
Yeah.
Just to break even. And I went, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah.
And then our friend said, you know what, we just probably picked the wrong vertical, like, or the wrong space. Let's do another clothing company. We called it Epidemic. It's like an epidemic, but it was epic.
Yeah.
Epidemic. If you know NRG, that clothing brand, so it was very NRG look, like roots and tree, like that kind of look. And again, broke even. And I was like, maybe we didn't think this all the way through, you know, like, cause we wanted to do something that was cool, but we didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
Like, where are we going to go with it? What are we going to do with it? Who's our audience? Like, who, you know, price points. Like, we didn't think through any of that. We just wanted to have something cool. So those are things that didn't pan out. I met my now wife eventually, who was just like, I don't want to marry anyone without a degree. Yeah. I was like, all right, I'll go back to just, you know, I'll try to figure that out. And I was already working and had grown to be a director of marketing.
Oh, nice.
And so I went to school at the University of Utah for my marketing degree, and I was already a director of marketing. So like, I breezed through it.
Yeah.
But in all that, like being dormant until that kind of thing happened, what reminded me of like why I could still do this. And I started working for the man for a long time. But what always lit a fire is I keep always remembering this, like every couple years. We were at a skate park, it was in West Valley City. Okay. Not super far from Slick, Solid Community College. And I saw a kid skating, wearing my shirt I designed, shirt I named, shirt I put out there. And I wish I would have talked to him. But I remember being like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I want to chase that feeling, but I don't know how. And part of me not knowing how is because I was too scared to figure it out, because it's not like I failed twice before necessarily launching a company. It was just that I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. And I was worried about the work that would go into to figure it out, when the world's also telling me you need to make a bunch of money if you're going to start a family and do all these things. And so I always just thought, well, maybe it's just not meant to be for me. Yeah. So I kind of curbed it for a lot of years. And I wish I wouldn't have done that. Yeah. I wish I would have just chased, and you know, and I know it sounds corny, but like followed my heart and chased it. But I let the world tell me that it probably wasn't for me, because you can't fail if you don't try. But the truth is you do fail when you don't try. Absolutely. And so I was learning and living that lesson for way too long. Yeah. Bro, I love that story. And I think too that, to your point, a lot of people start businesses and they pay a lot more for tuition. You broke even. You know what I mean? Like, because to me, starting a business and failing, that's the cost of tuition, right? And but I love that you were able to essentially come back around in that story with that kid. That's I think there's a lesson to be learned of all entrepreneurship, of like those moments when you realize and remember why you do it, right? Right. And so I love where this story is going. So let's pick it up from there and continue. Like, what made you jump from corporate America then? Like, you were working for the man for a long time. What was the first kind of jump back into the game? It was realizing like that I had kind of figured it out all wrong. You know, I graduate, have a degree. I'm now a director of marketing. I'm doing my thing. I become a multi-time C-suite executive. Now I'm playing the executive game. Like, I'm on executive teams. I'm sitting with boards. I'm doing what I always knew to be big time moves. Yeah. And learning things, but I'm learning from people and learning valuable lessons, but I'm also seeing them and I'm like, there's not a big difference between them and me. 100%. The role, the title, and that they had a dream to start this and I had a dream to work for them. Yeah. Like, that doesn't sound right. Yeah. But it's a good living, so like, keep going. Like, it's a good living. Like, you know, grass isn't always greener. You hear that all the time. Like, and be super thankful and grateful for what I have. And those lessons are still there for sure. But there's still that nagging theme behind me, which was just like there's no difference between me and that guy or me and that woman. If she can do it, like, why am I not doing it? What's keeping me from doing it? Yeah. What's super, super interesting is there's a good friend and mentor of mine. His name's Gabriel Legend. And I hope he sees and hears this, because I've told him to his face, like almost crying. Like, I'm not an emotional guy, but like, it gets me going a bit. Is with all this, like, I'm no stranger to, you know, being a C-suite executive. If you guys know anyone who's listening, or if you know yourself, like, some of the first people to get let go at a company are in marketing. Marketing is like the first thing to get chopped, right? I didn't know that, actually. Yeah. Oh, sales makes the money. Yeah. people just don't connect dots, right? So sales makes money, no marketing. So if layoffs are coming, marketing's first to go. Like, and everyone who's in marketing is like, yes, that is true. Okay, so like I've experienced and seen that. I mean, and that's a lot. It's really hard not to take that personally because you work so hard to be so good. And at the end of the day, if layoffs come, like, there's nothing you can do. Doesn't matter how good you did. Doesn't matter how well you treated people. It does not matter. Doesn't matter. And it's super frustrating. So I've been laid off a bunch, and I'm looking at all this like, I don't know what to do. So I had this conversation with Gabriel, and he's like, well, what? This was about 2 years ago. I had been laid off from an AI company. Again, first one to go has to be in marketing. Not the guy who's over product, not the girl who's over engineering, it's marketing. He's like, well, what are you going to do? What's weird is like, he said it as if he already knew what I should do, but he was like testing me. He's like, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I guess what I always do. He's like, walk me through it. So you're laid off. World looks bad. Yeah. What are you going to do? And I'm not awesome at being religious. I'm getting a lot better at being spiritual with the religion. So first and foremost, like I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Okay, I am, but that doesn't mean I'm like good at it. And my wife can attest to this. Okay? So what I told him was like, hey, well, I'm gonna get myself to the temple. I'm going to fast. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna read my scriptures. I'm gonna set a good example. I'm gonna serve. I'm gonna do all the things, and also apply to jobs, network, interview. Put in the work, and then I'm gonna have faith that this is gonna work out. Yeah, because that's what you do. You put works with faith, and you get things done. So I tell this to Gabriel, who's not a member of my faith. He does have a Christian background, so he gets it. Yeah. And what he said was, okay, so you're going to do that, end up somewhere that you maybe don't want to be, but you have to be because it's the first job that comes around. And then what? Like, well, I don't know, I guess work for that company and do it. And he's like, to do it again, and then again, and again. What legacy are you leaving behind? And he even said that. He said, you have young kids, like, what lesson are you teaching them? I feel like I know the answers, but if I give them to you, I feel like you're going to bat them down. Like, what are you getting at? Yeah. The conversation he had with me, which changed my life, like, it was super, super humbling. He said, okay, let me give you this a different way, Vince. Have you ever heard of the parable of the talents? And I was like, yeah, like, obviously, like, who the hell hasn't heard of the talents? So I was like, yeah, I've heard of it. Like, where are you going with it? He's like, well, then you tell me the parable. I was like, right now? He's like, yeah, dude, we have 40 minutes left on our call. Like, right now, go. I was like, okay. And so I tell him the parable of talents. He's like, and what do you think that means for you? And I was like, I don't know, that I need to put my skills to work and like make as much money as I can and do right things and be grateful. And he's like, no. And I said, well, Gabriel, I don't get it. Like, then he explained it to me. And he said, first of all, and he said, can I pray with you real quick? I said, sure. And he had to say a quick prayer. He's like, and he basically prayed that I would be humble enough to receive the message he had planned for me. And I was like, we're sitting on a Zoom call, right? Yeah. He's in Washington, D.C., and I'm like, this is weird. No offense, Gabriel, but that's what happened. So his message was like, Vince, what I find crazy is that you are basically over and over and over again asking God for a blessing and a circumstance in your life when he has already given you everything in your power to do it yourself. And I said, oh. And I didn't know what to say after that. I just went, oh. And he said, am I wrong? And I said, I don't think so. And then I went, help me. Help me, because I clearly don't have it. I'm not seeing it. It's not connecting. He's like, I know. Because you have rinsed and repeated for 15 years. Yeah. And no offense to you, but like, it's not gotten you anywhere. But taught you got a lot of lessons, but you're still in the same place. You keep going back to square one. What he had me do is he had me make a list of all my talents. And he said very specifically, like, I want God-given talents. Like, what's a talent of yours? Like, athleticism is a talent, right? Like a good sense of humor, that's a talent. Like, if you think you have a good skill, derive from it where the talent lies. because from talents become skills. So I said, okay. So make a list of my actual talents, my skills. And he said, follow those talents because those are the things that were made and given to you and for you that will light you up. She's like, what, for example, he challenged me. He said, have you ever had a good conversation with your wife? I was like, yeah. And he's like, and what do you feel? I'm like, I feel like pumped. Like I'm explaining something to her. Like, this is a great conversation. I feel pumped. And he's like, where else can you experience that? Chase that. How do you build that? What are other talents, right? So what's crazy is like, I'm piecing this together. He's teaching this to me. I tried to understand who I am as a man, who I am as a professional, and the talents that support those things. 3 weeks later, I meet Jason at a golf retreat. We're there to work it and help. Jason's there to attend and just chill and hang out. We golfed for like 3 holes because like we got mixed up in the wrong group. Kind of stayed in touch. Got to know each other's story. And one night, it was like the second or third night in, we were talking with the Attorney General. So Sean Reyes is like giving a thing. And afterwards, we just got to know each other. Like, hey, what do you do for a living? You know, that kind of thing. We started talking about leadership and culture. And we started talking for almost 4 hours outside. Then we looked and we looked around and we're like, everyone's in bed. Like, not just gone, like they're in bed asleep. So we go in, we're like, you know, like, that was a cool talk. Like, thanks for hanging out with me. Go in, hang out with Sean Reyes. It's not like 6 a.m. They have to go to the airport. We're like, well, what do we do? And we have to be up for golf in like 30 minutes. So like, let's just go shower and then go golf, right? And after that is kind of when he was like, hey, do you want to do this together? And I was like, do what? He's like, just do a project. Like, you're everything I'm not. And I'm everything you're not. But with our powers combined, like, we can do some pretty dope shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, like the universe is telling me like, yes, because I just had this conversation, this life-changing moment, and now I'm put on this path. Like, if I were to say no, God would have been like, oh my gosh, are you stupid? Like, you know what? I'm done with you. Yeah. Like, you figure it out. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And we've had, the funny thing is, like, we've had these moments, my wife and I, for 15 years before getting back into entrepreneurship, where things are stagnant because you're just chugging along every single day. You're like doing the same thing. And we have this running joke in our family. It's like, when things get stagnant, we're like we pretend like we're God and be like, so what's the status of the McCullam account? Oh, like, send him something quick. Like, we totally forgot about him. Like, that's our bad. Like, send us something, right? Like, send an angel real quick. Just let him know, like, we're still there. Like, every couple of years. So it was like, do you remember the McCullam account? Like, we need some help, So it was like that. Like, but that really was a moment where if I hadn't been humbled from Gabriel in that same sense, like, I would just be pounding my head. And by the way, I know that sounds bad. Like, I'm monumentally blessed to be an executive of companies, to sit at a high level, which receives a great compensation, to be a steward over other, people and employees and help shape them into leaders. Like I have a personal goal, which is like, if you guys are involved in sports at all, anyone, like, there's something well known as like the Coach Popovich coaching tree, right? So whoever's been on Coach Popovich's coaching staff, or Andy Reid, right? Same thing in the NFL. Like, if you've been on his coaching staff,
he's probably in there too. Yeah.
Like, he makes other awesome coaches, and that's a goal of mine too. So anyone who I've ever had on my team, like, and I can name several of them, like, they are now leaders at companies like Domo and Entrada, at MX, at Podium, like, things that are like, and I'm not saying it's because of me, but it's nice to see them create those things.
Absolutely.
And know that I had some hand in shaping them.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be able to do that if I hadn't learned those lessons in the corporate world. So like, it was a necessary evil for sure.
Yeah.
But it does get to a point where you look at yourself, and as a man who wants to pay attention to spirituality and religion says, like, how can I go harvest something if I have not sown or reaped it myself?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm like bought into this whole story, because I think along the way, you're dropping some gold nuggets of just the principles that all exist in personal growth, which to me is right alongside entrepreneurship, right? Because how many times do we have people that just, honestly, they're victims. They're victims of their circumstances. And, I said this in an Instagram reel that I posted a few days ago. I oftentimes think that the most dangerous amount of money you can make is that $2 to $500,000 range. Because usually that's the salary of a C-suite executive or a salesman making good commissions. And it's just safe enough money to where you're making good money to live a good life, but it also feels like it's monumentally risky to like walk away from it.
Oh yeah.
Right. And it puts those blinders on you that you said you have of like, what am I going to do? And it's like, what's the next step? And, thank goodness you had Gabriel kind of ask you those hard questions, It's like,
oh my God.
Well, shoot, bro. Like you got it all here,
Well, like another way to put it, and this actually comes from Gabriel as well, is I'm working in the Bay Area, right? So I'm in the Bay Area. We sold the company over time. It was a really good experience. What was really cool was I was making amazing money. Like amazing money. Like money where like it's a different world there than it is in Utah. Like we're a little bit more frugal. Like we have a great quality of life and standard of living here in Utah, but like our pay scale sucks here for corporate America. Like especially compared to out of state. So I'm making great money.
Yeah.
And Gabriel kind of brought that up in an example, and I hadn't been there for years, and he said, like, why don't you look at that, Vince, as like you are making X dollars basically in exchange for not chasing your dreams. And so I was like, really? And he was just like, he's like, honestly, like, look at that. He's like, that company paid you that much money to make sure that you stayed with them and not went and did your own thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Was it like that? Like, I feel like it wasn't, maybe it was like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
That's a great way of thinking of it. Like they're just like essentially telling you what you're worth, but also trying to get you from really taking the next step and betting on yourself.
But the thing is like it's true. Like that is maybe what I'm worth. But I don't know if that's what I'm valued at.
Yeah.
And there's a huge world of difference between those things.
Absolutely.
So like, what do you value yourself at?
Yeah.
Versus what you're worth, because you're worth whatever rate people are willing to pay you. Sure, but your actual value is that times what?
And to that point, there's only certain vehicles that have the resources to pay you your value, right?
Oh yeah.
And entrepreneurship is one of those, like because you create it, you create the value, right? Versus, certain opportunities, that's that limiting factor that they pay you is whatever they feel like is your worth.
Yeah, you're like, oh, well, I deserve $250,000 a year. You're like, great. How many companies are willing to be able to or can shell that out?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that. And then if there's 8-10 companies at any given time we're hiring, how many candidates or applicants are gunning for that job?
Yeah.
And just because you're the best, are you the one that fits their needs?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like there's all sorts of factors. It's like you have like at the end of the day, like 1 in 500,000 chance of scoring that job, even if you think you're the best one. Like,
and then once you have it, is shit is fan. What's next?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
Do you really control your destiny at that point?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it. So this has been awesome, dude. Like honestly, there's a ton of nuggets in here. I kind of want to rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
And I want to dive into, because you've been like this whole hero's journey of you jumping into entrepreneurship, leaving the culture or leaving the corporate world was money. There's oftentimes in these moments significant relationships that carry us through it. You talked about Gabriel, right? But one of the ones that I love highlighting and I love asking other entrepreneurs about it, just because I know how important it is in my life, is talk to me about your spouse. Right?
Okay.
Talk to me about your wife and like how has being a husband, how has being a father, your kids, how has that dynamic helped and played a role in your journey?
My wife's been awesome with this, and I know I don't tell her this enough, and I should.
Most entrepreneurs don't. They really don't.
And the thing is, like, we expect our wives to be along for the ride. So, for example, like you brought it up before, like we were making great money, and my wife would have been like, "Keep it coming."
Yeah.
like unless the universe makes you stop, like you're not stopping.
Exactly.
Like, and I get that, like a comfortable living, like and we're grateful for everything that comes our way. Like, why would we do anything to rock that boat? Like, of course we wouldn't. But after that conversation with Gabriel, my experience meeting Jason, doing some projects before we decided to create BlackJet Ventures, my wife came to me and was like, "Look, I have not seen you, professionally speaking, this happy, and I don't even." She's like, I want to say it's a long time, but I actually don't know if I've ever seen it. And she knew the stories and she knew the thing because, you know, I keep her informed and I tell her, and she was just like, I like this, but more importantly, you need this. And I see it. So like any guy out there, you would know that like it's I don't know, 1,000 times easier to do anything if your wife's like, here's the go-ahead, right?
Absolutely.
Try buying clubs with your wife not giving you the go-ahead, right? You can't buy new golf clubs with the wife. Like, you can try. There's consequences. But imagine
100%.
if your wife was like, hey, you know what? For Christmas, why don't you pick out a new set of golf clubs? You'd be like, I've already been on it. Like, I already have it in my cart. I'm ready. Like, you know, like having your wife say like, this is meant for you.
Yeah.
And I want to support making you happy. And if you think that you can do this and that you think you can help us, I will support you going all in. Yeah. And it's been really hard this last year. Like, you know, we may, all of our businesses are in the green, but for crying out loud, like we have to take care of everyone in the business plus the business itself before we take care of ourselves. Yeah. And those are lessons like I have long forgotten. Yeah. And my wife doesn't know. And she's just like, this is hard. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but it's the right thing to do. She's like, absolutely. Yes, we still got the faith. So just going back to that, it's like, yeah, like my wife, she does support it. And then easily she'll admit to this too. Like there's a time in our marriage where she wouldn't have, but she does now, and she sees it, and it's big. As far as like being a parent, like, you know, our parents were hard on us. You know, there's 6 of us, like, they have to set not just a lot of boundaries, but create a lot of discipline because you can't have a house of chaos, especially when things and obligations, responsibilities are still present. What I've learned from my experience, and this is what I'm trying to do now, and I'm now and it's something that I'm into like within the last month.
Oh wow.
Okay, so like I like any other dad. Oh, I shouldn't probably say that, but like a lot of other dads, like sometimes over time, my fuse gets shorter and shorter
100%,
and shorter.
100%, 100%, yeah.
Does that make me feel like a shitty dad? Yeah.
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 There's all of us, yeah.
I hate when like my kids will do something so monumentally small. It just doesn't matter. And I'm like insanely frustrated. Like, why? Because in the moment I get caught up. And I have 100 things going on at work. I have 100 things going on at home, obligations over here, responsibilities over there. And like, this is the last thing I need. But like, it's not about me. I've made it about me, and I'm the one suffering, and it's self-inflicted. Yeah. So what I've kind of noticed in the last month and going back to my childhood is like, I don't want to be a shitty dad. I especially don't want my kids to look back and be like, yeah, my dad sucks. Yeah. Heaven forbid they'd be like, hey, you know, like my daughter, for example, her name's Piper. Like, hey, Piper, let's go to your house and play? It's be like, no, I don't. Your dad sucks. Yeah. Like, that would be devastating. And so what I've learned, and like I said, in this last month is something about, I don't know, like how far to get into it, but there's something called the Rosenthal effect, which essentially encompasses like manifesting, you know, like it's talking about things out loud enough to that they become true, but like, especially as they pertain to people. So, for example, if I'm like, hey, Lame, you suck. And every day you see me, I just have this serious look on my face. I'm like, you suck. Yeah. And eventually, every single time you see me, you're like, I get it. I suck. Yeah. Yeah. Like, that has an effect on kids, too. If you're like, oh, my gosh, you never listen. You never listen. And then it's like something happens like, what, Dad? I get it. I don't listen. I probably don't listen because I'm dumb. I probably don't listen. And you're like, no, but you're beating me to the punch because, like, have I beaten you down? And so the inverse has to be true too, right? Yeah. You're a handsome guy. You're a super smart girl. I love how many friends you've made. I love how cool you are. I love that you are super good at this or awesome at this or you're curious about that, and build them up. And I feel like that is not second nature to a lot of us dads. I know it's not to me.
This is entrepreneurs.
And I feel like that's kind of where I lack the most as a parent is, and I'm starting to figure this out now. And my kids are a bit older. I have an 11, a 9, and a 3. God, dude, I wish I would have known about this way earlier when they were 4, 2, and nothing yet. Yeah. Right? So I could do this earlier. But like, I see this in them where it's just so integral as a part of their lives to be like, I need to do a way better job building them up. And it's not because I'm necessarily going out of my way to tear them down, But if I'm not building them up and it's just stagnant, then they're coasting emotionally and I am not doing anything to help it otherwise. And I need to be. Again, going back to it, if my wife can support me in what I need to do and what I want to do and what brings me joy, can I therefore not put that same amount of effort into my kids and what they want to do to support them and what they enjoy and build them up? Like, why should I get that grace from one side but not deliver that grace on another? And if I fail at that and I've seen myself slipping too much to the one side where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't know how to fix it because it's habitual. Like I come home from work, I'm tired. I barely have enough time to eat. It's time for bedtime. I get on my phone, figure things out, catch up, sleep, repeat. That's stupid. Like I can't do that anymore. Yeah. I shouldn't do that anymore. Right? So like that's kind of what's going on lately with that is how that matters for my kids. And like that's something that I need to be mindful of and present of so that I can make that habitual for them and for their sake.
Dude, that's so good. And that's so insightful, especially that part about grace on both sides. Like it really, really should. Because women, it's really easy for them to deliver that. To your point, I think it's harder for especially providers that are entrepreneurs because there's so much going on. We don't have the luxury of shutting off, like business is always going. Always on your mind. And so, well, dude, this has been an incredible, like, honestly, like, I can't believe the time's already flown by. But there's one question at the end of every podcast where we ask you to put yourselves in those shoes. You've done an incredible job of articulating your journey, those no rescue moments, both professionally and personally. For those people that are watching this, right? Those entrepreneurs that are in those moments, those heavy moments where they don't feel like they're going to make it. What are you telling them?
I used to work at eBay a long time ago. And eBay was evolving. They were getting rid of our whole department. And I remember that was my first job out of home. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And this woman, her name was Wendy, and she said, like, the sun's still coming up tomorrow. Like, you're going to be okay. I remember thinking like, okay, like, and how do I put that? And so looking at myself as an entrepreneur, like if someone were to ask me like, or even think myself, well, what would you do? Like you might fail. I mean, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Like, and what you failed today, this week, this month, this year at being as a parent, as a husband, as a brother, as a son, as a father, as a whatever, like you're going to fail. That doesn't mean you have to keep failing. And then when you do fail, what are you going to do to make sure that you stop failing, that you get some successes under your belt? Because I think a lot of people are like, well, if my business fails, I don't have it anymore, and then what? Well, that's on you. Like, then what? Be prepared for it. It's coming. Yeah. Because even if like the truth is like you might fail at this part of your business, and let's say your business is successful. What if it's so successful you sell or you exit? Then what? You still have to answer the then what, right?
Life goes on.
And whether you are ready for it or not, tomorrow still comes. You still are married. Your kids still go to school. They come home and still see you. Like, then what? That is a question for you to figure out. But I don't like to even hear from myself coming from my own head. Well, what if I fail? Because the truth is you will. You're going to. So get that over with. But every time you fail, what are the successes you're going to do? What are the steps you're going to do to like offset it? How often are you going to succeed versus fail?
Win and learn, baby.
So like I feel like it's that. I mean, it's not any one thing. It's creating those kind of mindsets. I mean, you're a big mindset guy too. Like it's creating those mindsets and then using those mindsets to build a habit that sticks, so that when the failures come, you're like, and then you can brush it off quickly and then move on and pivot, be agile and do something else. But like barring something monumentally massive that would make you fail so that your financial future and family and everyone is screwed, like, well, then you probably did that 100 steps ago.
Yeah.
Right? So what are you going to do today to maybe even mitigate some of that and course correct today?
Yeah.
Like self-reflection is huge, but like planning the future is the next part, right? Like the two businesses I had when I first started, I didn't have a plan. Because I didn't have a plan when they went away, there was no second step. It was, okay, well, just trudge on and coast.
Yeah.
So like have the plan, accept the failure.
Dude, and I love the way that you articulate your whole story. I mean, it's obvious that you're speaking from experience, but the level at which you can articulate it into digestible like nuggets, like you have a gift. And so, which makes sense why you're, king marketer and everything that you're doing, right? Because you're an expert communicator.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
But I genuinely, Vince, I know it took a battle and a war to get here. So,
It did.
but I appreciate your time. I know that the No Rescue family appreciates it. Is there any last pieces of advice? Any last things that you want to share with the world before we wrap up?
I mean, this sounds kind of cheesy. I want everyone to figure out what their talents are so they can follow them. But when I can't think of what my talents are, or when I'm stuck, or when I'm frustrated figuring it out, I don't know why. And this is maybe a personal thing. So if it works for anyone else out there, like, all the better. If I'm stuck even in my own head, like, I serve other people. And when you serve other people, it unclouds the mind.
Yeah.
And a lesson that I learned from my grandma, she was my dear best friend. Like, it was super weird for a little boy to be best friends with his grandma. She was my best friend. Before she died, it was a lesson that she told me was, she always encouraged me to serve because I opened up my mind.
Yeah.
But the key part to service was, she's like, whenever you're done serving, if you can, walk home. I went, why? She said, because in that walk from home, you can let that feeling seep in. You can meditate and ponder on it. And now with your cleared mind, you have this walk in front of you, where the floods of ideas and energies and all of that come in, and you're inviting it to. If you just get in your car and move on to the next thing, you don't have that emptiness to invite that mentality. So that's what I always tell people, like, well, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know where to go from here. I need to think through this, but I don't have time. Like, serve someone, and then let the universe or God or whatever it is that you think, like, let those ideas come to you because you did that. Do that.
I love it, dude. Well, I appreciate your time. Genuinely. Thank you for being here. That has flown by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
But I appreciate everything you're doing. The last thing that we do here on the No Rescue podcast is we have you sign the wall, baby.
Oh, perfect.
So let's get you to sign the wall. Appreciate you, brother, for coming.
Thanks, man.
Sponsored by Prodo. Flavored protein, not protein flavored. Discover our 20+ luxury flavors at protoshop.com.